Did you get enough? This is heavy duty tonight, isn't it? Heavy duty. Realize that from week to week, Jesus has gathered and formed the disciples. And each week, really, as we follow through the gospel, the disciples are getting a little bit more instruction on what it means to be a disciple. Case in point tonight. Now, part of discipleship is being certainly in Jesus' time, was being a law-observant Jew. The Torah, the commandments, are the center of faith in that Jewish community, in the people of Israel. Now, Jesus comes into this. Now, does he say, oh, forget those and I'll give you some other ones? No. What you already know must be practiced and not simply be done by jumping through the hoops. You know what happens with rules and regulations? They become knee-jerk. You got to be a law-abiding citizen. You got to follow the book. That can get pretty tedious, and we've all been there and done that. What he is substituting for, he's not deleting it. He's saying, now let's go deeper into this, and what does it really mean? This is what you heard. What I say to you is this. He's forcing the issue, go deeper into this practice of the faith. And so he takes the commandments, literally goes through all of them, one way or another, and cuts to the chase. I took a few notes for myself here. I'm getting old, can't remember everything I did before. Just a couple points, though. He's going from minimal observance, obedience, minimum. What's the least I can do and stay in the loop? The minimum requirements. What's the minimum to be a Catholic? Don't even ask me. What's the minimum to be a citizen? What's the minimum you got to do? Just talking to somebody the other day who joined. We were selling tickets for the Rotary at the Pittsburgh Mills yesterday, and a Rotarian from out of town, so it's safe to talk about him, came by, and we were complaining about people joining clubs. They're quick to, it's hard enough to get the members. Then they never show up. They may pay the dues, but they never come. So you can't count on them for any of the things that the organization does. Is that true in any of your organizations? No. I'm in the group, but don't ask me to do anything. It's an interesting phenomenon. Don't join. What's the point of it? The same thing can be, I am a card-carrying Jesus person. Yeah, right. Well, let's just say do a little more than what you say. It's more than just that. But what Jesus is dealing with, the killing, thou shalt not kill. What is it that leads us to be destructive? Killing is physical, but look at the many ways in which we kill. Attitude, resentment, being vicious, bullying, pushing people around, manipulating. Think of where does all that come from? Oh, I never killed anybody. Well, maybe you're not in jail for it. But where does our following of Jesus give us his Spirit, in a sense, literally running through our veins, our hearts and souls, to motivate us to go deeper in our motivation, other than simply not doing evil, but what is the good that I am doing? Worshiping with an undivided heart. I've never heard people say, I was going to go to church, but I didn't come because I had to go reconcile with the person I'm mad at. Did you ever use that as an excuse? I wish you did. Because I think coming here does not absolve me from reconciling with the people in my life. It's a sin if I don't go to church, but it's not a sin if I stay unreconciled with you and go to church. Where's that coming from? Go reconcile and then bring your gift. If we really heard that, boy, wouldn't things be different? Just in our general life. Versus the adultery, all of the sexual misconduct that is reported to us, that we eat, sleep, and drink every day. We've just been through Valentine's Day. My God, you can't eat a piece of chocolate without, having bad thoughts. Look at all of the ads. Think of all of all of that. Even all of this stuff with the sexuality, with the adultery in the gospel. I don't know how we can even talk about some of these things when our children in middle school, and even God knows where it starts, are subject to so much influence sexually in our culture without any frame of reference for what any of this means at a deeper level. They're your children, our society. And there are no boundaries. Everything is very porous. How are we going to talk about this stuff with adults when in the lower grades we're already have experience and are forming impressions that have no context whatsoever? This is heavy-duty stuff. Honesty and integrity, not just tell the truth, but be a person who is transparent. Honesty, telling the truth as it is. So all of the commandments, Jesus is saying, don't think you're getting away with murder here. You can get literally. The commandments are the life of God, and the grace, that gift, is planted into the human heart and soul. We were created to live like that. All of our sins are falling short of it and need to be repented of. That's why we are continually, and before every Mass, what's the first thing we do? We ask forgiveness for our sins before we worship, because we know we fall short. And we want that Spirit of Christ to flow through us more and more. And I think the question is, let me just use this as an example. Recently, I was mad at somebody. Imagine that. I was really carrying a torch. I do not practice what I preach 24/7. Well, I was bellyaching to somebody who said to me, pray for that person. How dare you tell me that? I'm a priest. I tell others that. Well, you know what? They caught me off guard. Because we all fall into this trap. So I said, you know what? I think I need to do that. Well, over a period of time, and not 30 minutes, some of this heaviness lifted. Because I was eating my own liver. It wasn't about the other person, it was about me. And it somehow, what happened in that prayer for the enemy, the person that I am mad at or at odds with, something begins to lift and is replaced with something that is more life-giving. You let go of the grudge. You let go of what is this nonsense? No, everybody has problems. We don't meet each other's expectations. How long am I supposed to carry this torch that I'm mad at you? What's the gain? But the praying for is a means for the Spirit of Christ to replace this rancor that's really eating us alive. Let me recommend that to you again. Because I think we go to church all the time, we hear this, and then we go out and hate our enemies. You get mad at each other getting out of the parking lot and throw a fit and say bad words. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. We were just in church. Well, we got that out of the way. You're in my way now. Get out of there. we don't bat an eyelash. We have to keep coming back to this to say, wait a minute, where is my discipleship of Jesus impacting my values and how I believe I should act in the day today? This, with the anger and the resentment and the reactionary kind of stuff. And I'm professing Jesus out of one corner of my mouth, the other corner I'm cursing you. This is hypocrisy, which is a divided, saying one thing and doing another. Now, it's not that we intend this, but we are mindless in the way we do this, in what we say and what we do. We have to be caught, and we need people around us. And adults need to do this with children to form them. We need to be taught this. Stop it. Your behavior is not worthy of you. We have to be stopped in our tracks periodically, and I think the Lord does send people into our lives to do that. But our following of Jesus, as we hear, this is what I say to you, he's telling us tonight. We got to listen up. And then we have to reflect on our day-to-day. How well am I living this? Where do I fall into this trap and don't think twice about what I say or do or how I react with other people and think it's fine when it's terrible? This is a wake-up call for all of us. As we celebrate the Eucharist tonight, Jesus teaches and then he fills us with this grace, this Spirit, to live differently. It is a gift. We can't earn it. Let us be open to receive and share this gift anew as we meet him this evening.